What's going on, guys? We'll get started here in a few minutes. Hey, Moneybag, you said closing any positions? Yeah, I took some profit. The two things that are marked... Oh, you can't see my screen, actually. I've taken profit twice on my short. I'm still holding a third of my position. Oh, it's Dave. What's going on, man? Definitely won't be as long of a stream as we did yesterday. Probably going to do like an hour of our basic stream where we talk about some stocks, some crypto, and then the second hour, or probably a little less than that, probably 30 minutes or so, we're going to do the part 2 of our TrendSpider walkthrough. Today's walkthrough is going to be on the candlestick recognition system. And since that system is very simple, probably can go over it in like 5-10 minutes. I'm going to throw on the heat map system as well. So we're going to go over a few of their heat maps. Alright, here we go. Let me take off the screen. So yeah, I've taken profit on my short twice. I took a 33% profit at 10K when we started to bounce up because we missed my target. I actually wanted to close 66% on this level here, but we missed this level by $10 for the first time. So I closed 33% when it started to wick. And then it actually, we talked about this on stream yesterday. I told you guys the reason I wanted to take profit is because Bitcoin likes to BART heavily, right? And that's exactly what we did after stream. I'll show you guys here. Soon as stream ended, basically, it fully retraced all the way back up, hit that pivot, and then collapsed. Just a massive scam wick, no reason to retrace. That's just what Bitcoin does. And that's exactly what I talked about on stream, that Bitcoin just likes to do that for no reason. So you just have to prepare for that. Sadly, I could have taken my same exact trade basically twice, because this came up, look, this is my average. It came basically to my average and then failed. So I could have literally taken profit, got back in my trade, taken profit. Obviously that's hindsight. You're not going to really do that live, but quite funny to see. But yeah, we currently are only in a third of the position. We closed a third here, closed a third here. About 3%, and then about 3.5%. So looking really good on this trade. I've already made about, let's see. Made about 15% already, about 15 to 20, and I'm sitting on another 5 or so. So, looking really good. I don't know exactly where I'm gonna close my final piece. I'm probably just gonna wait for an invalidation. Maybe a new bullish trend on the OTS. Maybe a double bottom or a double buy on the Momo. Maybe a TK cross. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But for now, I'm just gonna hold it and let it trend down. Still looking for a bounce on Disney. You have a nice little bounce here. We're already up about 1% from the low, but nothing too crazy. You do have a lot of resistance moving forward. If we look at the daily here, you are on kind of this cluster that acted as support for that previous bounce to 140. You did just have a TK cross bullish, but you're below the TK cross. You're below the trail. You're still black on the OTS. Let's take a look at the Momo. The Momo is descending as well. So I'm probably going to wait for a lower signal to buy Disney. I think buying around 130 to 132 would look really good. But this could definitely head higher. It could be like a very jagged inverse head and shoulders. Because you do kind of have that support in, you went lower, and then you're back on that support. Definitely not a perfect inverse head and shoulders, but it is similar structure.
Yeah, I'm playing a super close expiry on Diz right now. If it doesn't go up tomorrow, I'm gonna get wrecked.
I'm definitely beating myself up for not getting glue. I've been watching glue for like a month now, and this thing is pumping. We're going for that gap fill on glue. It's already up about 30 to 40% from that accumulation. Massive gap up today as well. We already gapped up 6%. You're already up 11%. This thing's moving. Micron looks like it's losing steam here.
Take a look at AMD. What do you think?
Take a look. Probably short it. Or I wouldn't short it, but it's probably going to fall down to that pivot. Fill that gap. There's like a little bit of a gap there that hasn't filled. Weekly's actually really good. If you look at the weekly, you got support on the baseline, it's support on the trail. It has not touched this trail. Oh, it touched it one time here. It's giving you your first gray candle on the OTS. Daily Momo's bearish. Weekly Momo's, yeah, I think it's actually bad. Weekly Momo gave you a bear div. You hit this level like to the fucking penny. 34.25. Wish I would have shorted that. Holy shit. The 13% short. Yeah, probably more continuation downward. PayPal's bouncing. Got a nice little pivot there. Bounced up off the low about 2% already. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, he came down and tested that pivot just as we thought. Momo's pinching downward though. It's pretty bad. Probably going to see continuation down. Cisco strong bounce off that pivot. About 8%. Chesapeake pulling back. If Chesapeake holds 170, could be a decent buy. Starbucks holding the 72 moving average. Starbucks giving you a bottom doji too. You're pinching on the Momo though. Could be a failure. We've tested the 72 like twice now. You have that test back there, bounce. Test here, bounce. Now we have that current test. Probably wait for the Momo to flip bullish here. And then could take a long. Coke bouncing off the daily trail. You got a double buy. Momo flipping bearish though. Uber recovered, but it's failing the daily trail. You are back above that pivot. You have your first green candle too. Momo's flipped bullish. Yeah, Uber doesn't look too bad. You have a Discord group? Yeah, we've got a Discord. If you go to, if you scroll, oh, you're on YouTube. I don't have any commands on YouTube actually. It's oasistrading.io is our website. If you go to oasistrading.io, you can read about our Discord. I don't even know how to set up commands on YouTube, now that I think about it. Pepsi doesn't look too bad on the daily. You are pulling back to that previous high and finding support. The 3 hour doesn't look good though. 4 hour bouncing off a pivot. Doesn't look terrible though. If this turns bullish again, let me set an alert. Could definitely keep an eye on it. New bullish trend. This would be on the 3 hour. Carnival just mooned here. 17%. Veritone's still looking really good. You're accumulating on this pivot. Looks a lot like glue. So take a look at glue. I think glue was a daily play, yeah. Or was it daily or 4 hour? Was it glue? What was the other one? It was glue? I think it was Chesapeake. Yeah, Chesapeake, here we go. You see that accumulation there on the pivot low, and then you pop up. So that's basically what we're looking for here on Veritone. Accumulation on that pivot, and then a pop up. Don't have any confirmation just yet though. Ton of resistance with the cloud. You got a pivot there. You got your trail coming in. But if you do an E to E on the cloud, you'd be looking at probably like 11% to even around probably 7.5. Activision pulling back, bouncing off that local pivot. Bouncing off the daily pivot as well. We're not able to fill that gap. You are failing that gap down. Twitter doesn't look too bad if we can bounce off the daily trail around 42. Marvel pumped today, up 5%, not bad. Oracle's climbing here. Bounce off that blue pivot was perfect. Got about 8.5% gain since that blue pivot. Yeah, looks really good here. You've already filled that gap. So you got your gap fill. Probably wait for a pullback to a support and then could trade a continuation move. Yeah, AMD bouncing right off that gap there. WBA mooning. Going for that gap fill. Take a look at Walgreens, dude. It's up fucking 17% since the low. Damn, that daily pivot was the play. You had a daily pivot at 49.52. If you bought that pivot, you had less than a 1% drawdown. And you're currently sitting at a 17% profit. That's incredible. The gap fill's not even finished yet. You still have room to grow. You got a pivot there at 60.12. And then your gap fill would be finished around 63.50. That's a massive trade there. Heatmaps pumping. Most of these other ones down here are miners. Neo looking really good. Double bottom. Sticky was calling this one out yesterday. Or the day before in Discord. Looks really good. Put in a higher low. You reclaimed that pivot. Reclaimed the SR. Reclaimed the 72. Your Momo's bullish. Looks really good. You probably will pull back maybe tomorrow. You do have a bearish candlestick pattern here. It's a bearish harami. But it does look pretty good. What's going on, man? You said, what did you end up doing with your short yesterday? So yesterday I took profit, another third. So I took 33% here, 33% here. I'm still holding a third of my trade. If it pops up like it did yesterday, I'll probably add on to my short. So I didn't get shaken out when it popped up here. It was a random ass pump, just a little scam wick. It loves doing that. Scam wicked up, failed that pivot, and then crashed all the way back down. So yeah, we're sitting pretty on this trade. We've made a very healthy profit on our high risk account, and we're still sitting on a third that we can make a nice profit on. So we're currently up about 2% on our remaining piece. I'm probably gonna look for a big failure downward, probably around 6.5%, maybe around this pivot here, around 5%, to close. But we'll see what I get. Want to take a look at OPK? Let's take a look. Nice, man. OPK is moving. You called this out yesterday on stream. A really nice move here. It's up 6% today. Nice. Very good call. I remember you calling this out yesterday. What did I say about this yesterday? I can't remember what I said. Has a beautiful double bottom. You reclaimed that pivot. You were hitting the 72 and failing, so you had a little bit of resistance. So if I remember correctly, I probably said something about the resistance moving forward. But besides that, you were looking really good. Yeah, you had a bunch of buy signals here on the new indicator. You had a buy there, buy there, buy there. You had a buy here. You called out the bull div. Yeah, there is a beautiful bull div here. You've got multiple bull divs. You have a bull div from this low to this low. And you also have a bull div from this low to this low. You see that triple bull div there? Very solid. Pepsi could be a decent play if we find some support here. What are the markets doing today? The markets are all green. You have 0.5% on SPY, about 0.7 on Qs, and 0.6 on Dow. Overall market is up about 1.5 points. Perfect bounce off that trend line there. Beautiful bounce off the pivot as well. Yeah, the ES is moving pretty heavily here. These pivots are just so clean. You can see the 3-hour pivots. Bottom there, bottom there, bottom there, bottom there. Every single one of these blue pivots called a bottom. Even this one here. Beautiful plays. This is also a bulldog. Double bottom, into a curved back, into a pop, pullback, shoots up. You have almost like 2 bulldogs here. Beautiful plays. Bitcoin's getting pretty choppy here. Still below your 3-day VWAP. Get a nice failure of the 3-day VWAP. Can I draw, please? There, there, there. Beautiful touches the whole way here. You can see when it exited the bands, it got bought up. You do see some bullish strength here. You are putting in a higher low. Could see a breakthrough VWAP. Probably a pullback. The band is just a VWAP band. So this is the 3-day VWAP. This is just a standard deviation. Basically like a Bollinger Band, all on top of a VWAP. Zuo is still looking really good. Still holding Zuo. You are starting to distribute a little bit here. People are taking profit. As long as it pulls back, holds above like 1540, maybe even like 1530, it will still look really good. I'll probably buy some more shares on the next pullback, depending on how it looks. You can see how bullish glue was. We were above VWAP, the 3-day VWAP, the entire way. So you had a test there. He broke out there. Very clean moves. Take a look at OPK on 3-day VWAP. Yeah, super clean here. You have your accumulation, popped, pulled back to that 3-day VWAP close, regained VWAP there, and then you were bullish the entire way up. When it does stuff like this, where it like rides the upper band, it's very bullish. You can see how it rode the upper band here, consolidated, popped up, and then it rode the upper band the entire way there. Really strong. Shows the buyers are in complete control, basically. Same thing for the downside. You can see how it rides the lower band. What would you say next target? Are you talking about OPK or are you talking about Bitcoin? OPK has a failure point around 220. And then you have, let's see, you've got a pivot at 236. And then you also have a pivot here at 247. So I'd say your nearest resistance is going to be the 220. And then you have a pretty strong resistance around this 240 range. So I would see how it reacts to 220. If it blows through 220, I would just keep holding on, obviously. But if it starts to kind of consolidate or fail a little bit around 220, I'd probably take profit. It looks like it wants to pull back, though. You might pull back to this kind of $2 range. Maybe retest the whole dollar. Dollar index is doing pretty good. Crude oil approaching its decision point. Had a very strong sell-off today on crude, about 3%. Bitcoin still giving you the lower highs. People are getting bullish on Bitcoin way too early. That's why I've been shorting this entire way. People are getting bullish too early. They're trying to predict a break into a higher high. We have not seen a higher high since June. This right here was our last higher high. Every move after this point was bearish. Weekly is approaching its trail along with the pivot. This would be a pretty strong weekly drop, though. That would be down to 8,800. I don't know if we'll see that, but getting pretty close. The Momo is falling rapidly here. You can see the Momo price lines at -5, and the Momo trend lines at positive 12. If this gets below 10, it's going to look ugly. You can see how when the Momo lost 10 up here, that's when we started to see that massive failure. The 3-day is giving yet another buy signal. It gave you another perfect buy signal on 99.63. Missed the low by about $90, which is not bad on a 3-day scale. So it's giving you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scalps here. You had 8 different scalps on this 3-day trail. But 3-day has been pretty bearish. We're turning negative again. The trend line is already below the price line. Looking pretty bearish. I think the harder part of a trade is when and how to take profit. Well, it depends on what kind of system you're using. If you're using like a, I don't know, like a moving average system, it's going to be a little harder because you're going to be lagging behind price. If you're using more of like a support and resistance style system, you just need to, before you take the trade, you need to find where your support and resistance is, so you know where you need to take profit. So like if you're trading this on a daily, you need to take profit around these lower supports. You have like a support here, and then you have a pivot there. You have a lot of support here. So basically that entire range from here to here is where you want to be taking profit if you've been shorting these upper levels. Yeah, but that's just trading. You just gotta take. If you're worried about it blowing through the level, just don't set a limit and just watch it live if you can, and see how it reacts. If I'm at my computer and it's testing like my supports or my resistance, I typically won't use limits. I'll just wait and see like how it reacts. If it starts to wick, then I'll take profit. But if it starts to just destroy that level, then I'll hold on to it for a little bit. If you're not at the computer, you just have to take profit at that level that you think it's going to bounce. Worst case scenario, it doesn't bounce. You still made money. If you're worried about it not bouncing, then just take partial profit. Or you could ladder. You could always ladder. So if you're in a long here and you have a resistance here, if you're worried about it blowing through, just ladder into it. Instead of selling, let's say 1,000 contracts here, you could do like 250, 250, 250, 250. And then a best case scenario, it hits all of them and then fails. Mediocre scenario, it hits like 2 of them, fails. Or maybe it hits like 3 of them, or hits 1 of them and then fails. What sucks about laddering is if, let's say your level is like 10,400, and you're doing like something like this where you're selling 1, selling 2, selling 3, selling 4. And if it hits that 10.4 and then instantly retraces, you're always going to be like, oh man, I should have just sold everything at 10.4. It's the price you pay. You're paying for safety. It's like you're buying a safety net. You're buying a safety net, so you're making less money. It's the same thing that I just did. I literally just did this. If you look at my trade, I just did this. Instead of taking 100% profit at my level at 99.20, I took a piece at 10,000 because it started to retrace, and then I took another piece at 99.20. So worst case scenario, if this full retraces and stops me out, I could have taken 100% profit at my level, and I would have made more money. But I don't care. I've already made like 15 to 20% of my account. I don't care if this full retraces. You got to get to a point in your trading where you just don't care. It's like what Bill Williams always used to say. If you're in a trade and you're like staring at the screen and you're like, go up, go up, go up, go down, go down, go down, and you're like really trying to push it, you're not in the right mindset. You got to get to the point where you're just like, I don't really give a shit. It goes up, I'll add on to my short. It goes down, good for me, I'm making money. Yeah, so man, I'm working on that. I hope to have exits on the Momo within the next 2 versions. What's going on, Hockey? You said, does this not feel like reaccumulation? No, this definitely could be. I'm not saying it's gonna dump. But basic price action tells you that lower highs are bearish. And what are we seeing? We're seeing lower highs, lower high, lower high. We have a descending triangle. I could probably draw that better. We have a descending triangle. Basic price action tells you that descending triangles most often break out to the downside. Now, what Bitcoin loves to do is something like this, where it breaks out to the downside, gives you a trap, and then it pops. So we could easily see something like that. But no, I'm not saying we're in a bear market. I'm not saying we're reversing. I think we're definitely very bullish. We're still bullish above like 8,800. We could drop all the way down to like 82 to 88, and I'd still say we're bullish. So don't get me wrong. Even though I'm bearish short term, that doesn't mean that I'm bearish long term. Or I say, it depends on, relatively speaking, what you're looking at. But like daily, I'm bearish, obviously. Weekly, this is not bearish. This is a bull flag. So like I said, on the weekly, we could dip all the way down to like 84 and still be bullish. You just gotta learn how to make money on those dips. You can't be one of those. I mean, you can be, depending on how long term you want to hold on. But a lot of people don't know how to like make money during these dips, and they just like they wait, and they're like not trading at all during this, and they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna wait for it to dip and I'm gonna buy it. It's like they're in a buy only scenario, which isn't terrible, but it's not gonna give you the best results.
Especially if you're trying to beat the buy and hold strategy.
Yeah, exactly. Can you describe your indicator you're using? Which one? I'm using a bunch. Can't believe Apple went up. Yeah, me and Sticky were just talking about that.
Yeah, Apple had a crazy run today. Kind of overbought in my opinion, but we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Do you make enough from selling your indicator? We don't make that much money selling these indicators. We're not like a massive group. Do I make enough money to live off of? Not even close. I'm just mentioning that because oh yeah, I read that. Yeah, so I'm looking at adding exits on the Momo pretty soon. I'm definitely macro bullish on Bitcoin. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I'm right there with you, Dave. Maverick, it would take me far too long to go over these indicators on stream. Literally, the Momo itself, I have over an hour-long video on YouTube. The Momo is the most complex one that I'm using. The OTS is basically just a trend. It's a trend and SR indicator. So it's coloring my candles white for bullish candles, or bullish trend, black for bearish trend, gray for choppy trend. It's also giving me pivot points, which are kind of support and resistance, but they're more of pivotal zones. It's also giving me a trail that acts as like a buy the dip and sell the rally type signal. The purple line here is just a 72 moving average, nothing fancy. This line here is a midline for a support and resistance indicator. This is the Auto SR midline. The whole Auto SR is a complete indicator. I'm just not using all of its signals right now. You can turn on the support and resistance, and that is the midline for the support and resistance indicator. But that's basically what I'm using. And then I'm also using Ichimoku on my other chart. I have videos on everything here. I've got videos on Ichimoku. I've got videos on my indicators. It's all on YouTube. There's also write-ups on our TradingView page. If you go to Oasis Trading on TradingView, we have write-ups on everything. So if you go to, just type in Oasis Trading.
The indicator page on our site also has some videos and some screenshots you can look.
Yeah, exactly. On our site, we also have shorter videos, so they're not like fully. Or actually, no. Every one except for the Momo one is basically a full synopsis. The Momo is just too complex to go over in 10 minutes. But yeah, this page here has massive write-ups on our indicators. So like the Momo here, you can see just very long write-ups. So I can't spend my time on stream going over these. That's why we made all that stuff. Makes it easier for you guys. If you scroll down on Twitch, we've got links to click on the website. I should probably actually make a panel for the trading view as well. I've got a few panels I need to make. I need to make TrendSpider, trading view. I haven't seen you trade the heat map in a while. Which, you mean the trading light thing? Are you talking about this? I still look at this. I've been having computer issues though. I have like RAM issues where it's crashing my browser if I'm doing too much. That's why I'm not trying to do too much on stream, because it will crash my browser. It actually hasn't happened in a long time, knock on wood. I restarted my PC and cleaned up a few things, and it seems like it fixed it for the short term. No, all of our code is closed. We don't have open source code. You can't watch 2 hours even at 2x? Yeah, I can't help you with that, man. Our indicators are complex. If you want to learn them, you got to put in the time. Trading isn't easy, the market's not easy, so the indicators aren't going to be easy. Not all of the indicators are Pine 4. Some of them use some Pine 4, some use older versions. What's going on, Angus? Knocking on wood for you. I appreciate that, man. Good to hear the RAM is acting better. Did you fiddle with the voltages? No, I don't want to touch any of that shit, man. I'm not very techie when it comes to that stuff. I'd probably make it worse. I don't think it's a hardware issue. I really don't. I think there's something going on with my browsers that is like leaking memory. But yeah, I restarted my PC. I did a few things on my browser, and it seems like it fixed it for the time being. Want to take a look at the NSA stuff? Oh yeah, I can take a quick look at that. What did you say to look up? You said to look up NSA, how to create a bank. Is that what you said? Oh, how to make a mint. NSA. Is it the let me see. Is it this one? I know you can't see it. Give me 1 second. Publication date 1997. How to make a mint, the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. Yeah, you're talking about this here. How to make a mint, the cryptography of anonymous electronic cash. This is on archive.org. Go to section 2. Electronic cash, electronic payments. Offline cash. Electronic coin, including identifying information. Digitally signs the blinded coin. The NSA literally created Bitcoin in 1997, before the internet boom. Talks about private keys and public keys, bashing all the good stuff. Whoever created this is super intelligent. You mean blockchain? I think they're trying to implement something different. Which page are you talking about? You said section 2. Which page are you talking about? Oh, if only, man. If only this had, like, the Bitcoin logo. You said hashing? You passed it? You have a delay, so it's gonna be hard for me to... Here, let me go to the table of contents. You're talking about hashing? I don't see hashing on here. Can you link the paper? Yeah. It could be a fake paper. It could be a fake... I don't think so. This is published on archive.org. Archive.org is usually pretty solid. Oh, sorry, Moneybag. What exact spot are you trying to get me to look at? Looks like some buy volume coming in for Uber right before close. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. You almost have a Kumo twist end coming on the 3 hour. If you edge to edge here, it's going to be huge. You could see like 37 to 38. That would look really good for Sticky. Sticky's in some options right here.
Yeah, $37 calls for October 18th. Broke even today after being underwater for about 2. Way she goes catching knives though.
Think this is fake? I haven't done any research into this, so I have no idea. It's a pretty well-written fake document. Section 2. Okay, you're talking about page 1137. Liquor money's gone, Sticky. Way she goes.
Somebody watches Trailer Park Boys. I'm gonna guess hockey's Canadian.
Probably. Yeah, it's very interesting, Moneybag. If it's real. Have people done some diving?
Damn.
Have any people done any diving? Seeing if that is actually real?
I've seen that paper before, but I can't confirm if fake or not.
Could be that someone from the NSA stole the info and created Bitcoin and named himself Satoshi. Yeah, it'd be pretty fucked. I feel like America is too egotistical to not come out and say they're the ones who created like the very first blockchain, you know what I mean? I think if America, like the government actually did it, they would probably definitely come out.
Disney finally getting some buys towards market close.
Yeah, it is. Got about 5 minutes left. I'm from Atlanta, ironically. It's a Japanese guy for sure. I highly doubt it's one person. It's probably a group of people. Atlanta. Is hockey big in Atlanta?
I would say no, but
Government is too corrupt to come up. They have the reasons. Oh, 100%. At this point, I'm basically just trailing the remaining piece of my Bitcoin trade. We've already closed a healthy profit, made 1.84 on that piece, 2.36 on that piece. That's our risk to reward. I would like to see about 3.5 to 1 or 3 to 1 on this third piece. Make up for some opportunity cost of holding on to it for so long. I'm still getting paid funding though, so this entire time I was being paid to be right. We have better ledger technology than blockchain, but it's not free and open source. Yeah, I've done like no research into like the blockchain technology, all that stuff. I don't really care. That's not my kind of cup of tea. Like I don't usually dive into like the whole tech behind these things. I'm more about the business side of it, the money side of it. Got about 2 minutes left on the close. Disney trying to find some buyers here at the end of the day. Pepsi popped up here but failed to trail. We could see a failure on tomorrow's open on Pepsi. Glue starting to sell off a little bit here. MGM had a nice climb. Starbucks is definitely one I want to keep my eye on for the next few days. Perfect bounce off the 72 moving average, just as we saw basically the entire way up. So definitely keeping my eye on Starbucks. a mean reversion would lead you to about 5%. Coke also looks really good here. If Coke can have a strong open tomorrow, we could definitely see a continuation of this trend. Because you can see all the way up, you were getting buy signal, boom, buy signal, boom, buy signal, boom. Now you're getting another couple of buy signals. So, looking really good on Coke. I don't know what their options are looking like today. Probably up about 50% or so on the close ones. Yeah, I don't go to Starbucks a lot. I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm not a big, like, smoothie guy or like basically anything they make. Frappuccinos, stuff like that. Not really me.
Come on, Disney close above 136.25.
Yeah, Disney doesn't look too bad here. You had a strong trend reversal here. Perfect pivot at the bottom. Man said, the Bitcoin protocol is a lot more complex than the paper you linked. The idea behind electronic money isn't really new. There are probably more papers talking about similar ideas. Yeah, 100%. I think the weird thing that people are referring to when they look at the that document that we were looking at is if it's factual and it's real, it's written by the NSA. So it's like, why the fuck would the NSA write something like that? That's why people are weirded out by it. It's also written in 1997, so. Alright, market closed. Disney had a pretty strong open. Close. You probably will see a good open tomorrow. Definitely keep an eye on Disney. You could return to your resistance around 1% here. We're going to get started with our TrendSpider walkthrough in probably about 10 minutes. Appreciate all you guys being here, by the way. Hanging out, giving me stuff to read. Seems like the chat's been a little more busy the past few days. I really appreciate that. Storm Area 51, yeah, right. When is that supposed to be happening? It's one of the most guarded places on the planet. And a bunch of woke kids who are juuling and drinking their Starbucks think they're going to storm the base. Especially talking about the coding type, or type of coding in the 90s, and specifically speaking about anonymous cash, not just electronic cash. On top of that, outlining exactly how Bitcoin works. Oh, why am I staring at Disney here? We're aftermarket. Let's go back to Bitcoin. I know my chart's getting messy. It's mainly Ichimoku. Ichimoku makes your chart really messy. That's like the only downside to Ichimoku. Is it makes your chart pretty ugly, but it's helpful. If you're new to trading, I highly recommend getting into Ichimoku. I think it's a very strong tool for new traders and experienced traders. I think it's hands down probably one of the best most used indicators. Like out of the top list of like MACD, RSI, Bollinger Bands, all that, I think Ichimoku is definitely probably in the top 2 or 3. You think dry ships will ever get back to their crazy highs? I hope not, dude. That thing, a lot of people got arrested for that, I'm pretty sure. It was like a complete scam. Or not a scam, it was more of a market manipulation. Have you watched Travis Scott documentary? No, I haven't. I don't watch a whole lot of Netflix. Like me and my girlfriend watch shows. Like we just restarted Altered Carbon. One of my favorite shows on there is really good. We're gonna restart Haunting of Hill House pretty soon. I watched Dave Chappelle's special the other day. That was really good. I'm gonna watch Bill Burr's special. I heard that one's even better. So Bill Burr is fucking hilarious. I think he's probably one of my favorite comedians. Yeah, if you guys haven't already, I recommend watching the Dave Chappelle special. It's pretty funny if you like watching comedy shows. And then the Bill Burr one just came out, I think, yesterday. Yeah, not too many shows that I watch on Netflix. Netflix has this thing where, like, they release a bunch of shows. The majority of them are dog shit. And then, like, the ones that are good are really good. So Netflix is kind of a love-hate thing. Like, Altered Carbon, fantastic show. But, like, I couldn't... You can't name a ton of shows on Netflix that are really good. The majority of their shows are like mediocre to terrible. But the ones that are good, like Stranger Things Season 1, fantastic. Punisher Season 1, Season 2, fantastic. All the other Marvel shows, dog shit. Actually, I can't really give you a review on those because I couldn't really get into them. I watched like the first episode of like all those Marvel shows, I couldn't do it. Daredevil was good. Yeah, Daredevil was good. Punisher was by far the best. Daredevil wasn't bad, though. I really hope they bring back Punisher on Disney+. They said it's canceled because they have to cancel it on Netflix. They haven't talked about if they're going to revive it on Disney+. Did you guys hear that Disney Plus is going to release their shows on a weekly basis instead of on all at once? They're serializing, or whatever it's called, their shows. We have literally gone full circle from fucking cable television to live streaming back to cable television. And we're going to be paying for this shit. How has the American consumer, or just the world consumer, allowed them to do this to us? We've allowed them to take cable, turn it into live streaming, and then turn it back into cable. And we're gonna fucking pay for it. What the hell? Do you see this article that just popped up? UK artist sells 19 paintings for 490 Bitcoin. Jesus. What is that, like 4.9 million? Oh, and then to top that, when Netflix heard that Disney was going to be doing that, guess what Netflix said? Netflix said, guess what? We're going to release our shows on a weekly basis. So now they're going to be releasing certain shows on a weekly basis. Disney's going to release shows on a weekly basis. Why the fuck don't we just go back to cable? Now you're just competing with HBO. And HBO is going to destroy you. Their argument is that if you release them on a weekly basis, it keeps people more interested. They talk about it longer, yada, yada, yada. I think it's going to hurt them in the long run. I think it's really stupid. So, the average show says what? It has what, like 10 episodes? 10 episodes to 15 episodes, the average season. So, if they release them on a weekly basis, that's 10 to 15 weeks that you're going to have to be subscribed. That's about 2 to 3 months. So, you're going to have to pay for 2 to 3 months of subscription to watch one season. Now, of course, on the business standpoint, they're going to make more money doing that. If people don't get tired of that shit and they actually hold on to it for 3 months. I'm different though. So like if I'm watching a show and it starts to suck and I have to wait a week to watch a shitty episode, I'm done. I'm done watching that show. But if I'm binging a show, like the whole season, and like 2 episodes start to suck, I'll just keep watching it. You see what I'm saying? If I'm binging it, and it's all the episodes are available to me, if like 1 or 2 episodes are bad, I don't care, I'll keep watching. If I have to wait a week for a bad episode, there's no fucking way I'm watching your show. Perfect example. Perfect example. I just watched this show on Netflix called Another Life. I think it's called. Yeah, Another Life. It's like a sci-fi show. Super corny. Pretty fucking stupid. But because I was binging it, and I was like kind of intrigued, I kept watching it. If I had to wait a week to watch those episodes, not a chance, dude. I would have given up on the first episode. 100% would have given up. First episode, wouldn't have watched anymore. What would happen if a U.S. government found a U.S. citizen trading on BitMEX? So the exchange, so BitMEX, from what I've heard, BitMEX will send you an email basically saying that your account's locked. I think they give you like a week to withdraw your funds. And then if you don't withdraw your funds, they keep your money. INMD. I need to stop yelling and ranting and my fucking throat's gonna die again. Yeah, it looks really good. Not bad. What is this? In mode? Never heard of in mode. Provider of medical technologies that develops, manufactures, and markets devices harnessing novel radio frequency technology. Company serves plastic surgery, gynecology, dermatology, don't know what the hell that word is, optometology, based in Israel. It's a medical company. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like you're kind of double topping, finding resistance. I'd probably wait for a lower price to get in. Hey, Dave Can't Aim, I appreciate the follow, man. Welcome to the brewery. Bitcoin trying to recover. Any divergence? I didn't see any. It's hard to say because there's not a lot of data. Yeah, there is a divergence on the high. So you've lost momentum here. Your momentum's gone. I'd probably wait for a pullback to like 2460. They want you to subscribe for a year and not when good shows comes out. Yeah, exactly. They want to keep you on there instead of subscribe, watch the show, cancel. I 100% understand from a business standpoint why they're doing it. I do not think the customer is going to like it. I think their numbers are going to hurt. I think long term it's going to hurt them. One thing to note on Bitcoin, this is a falling wedge. And it's getting really close to breaking out. That's definitely one thing you want to pay attention to. Alright, my throat's getting a little sore. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some water. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so I'm going to get started with the TrendSpider highlight of the video, or of the stream. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Make sure I've got everything situated. See you later, Maverick. Alright, so let's go. We're going to go over the patterns and the heat maps in this video. I'm not sure exactly what they're going for with this depth chart, because it's not really tradable. I'm probably not going to go over this one too much. And then the trend one is also a little weird. Not 100% sure what they're going for with this one either. Yeah, I hear you, Angus. I hear you. I think they need better ways to visualize this data. I'm not entirely sure what they're going for. But their horizontal one is very good. So I'm going to be mainly going over their horizontal and their volume profile, obviously. Their volume profile is also really massive. Their heat maps definitely need some work. Can you create alerts on these? That's what I never really figured out. Never figured out if you could create an alert on the candlestick. I think the only way to do the alerts on the candlesticks is if you do a multi-factor alert. Let's say like 1 hour candlestick pattern. Yeah, right there. Then we could say like 1 hour dragonfly doji. Create alert. Then we go to our alert list, and boom, it's right there. Yeah, they do have the alerts. I was just trying to figure out how to do it. I did it off stream, and I couldn't remember how, but I figured it out. Well, I'm trying to remember everything that I was doing off stream so I can get it all down in one video. Because all my videos, if you guys haven't realized at this point, I don't do like, here's what I'm going to talk about in the video, here's my layout, and then I read through it. All my videos are done, what's the word, like impromptu. Like I don't write out how these videos are going to be made, and I need to go over this, this, and this in this order. It's all just in my head. Alright. I'll stop messing around here. Let me delete these alerts. This video is going to be very short, probably like 5 minutes or so, because there's not a lot to go over. Go to the daily. There's one thing that I'm forgetting, I just can't remember what it is. I did something off stream that I can't remember. Yeah, that destroys the strategy. Watch this. So I delete this. If you guys saw my tweet on Twitter and I said a simple TK cross strategy could outtrade half these LARPers on Twitter, this is what I'm talking about here. 37% gained, Bitcoin's down 10%. Telling you guys are new to trading. Ichimoku, very powerful. But alright, let's get started. Make sure I caught up on chat. I think we're good. Sticky, I'm gonna leave Discord. I'll be back in when the stream's over. Let me turn the music off. All right, got my promo code up there. I think that's everything. Should be good to go. All right, guys, if you're just coming in, we're going to be talking about the candlestick pattern recognition software coming from TrendSpider, and I'm also going to be going over their Heatmaps system as well. Since there's not a whole lot to go over with the candlesticks or the heat map, I'm just going to put them all into one short video. So first things first, if you guys have your TrendSpider loaded, all you got to do is click on the patterns here to turn on the candlestick patterns. If you don't have any candlestick patterns selected, you need to go ahead and click those three dots next to the patterns, and it will bring you the list of all the candlesticks. So for right now, we can just go over a few of the basic ones. So currently I have all the dojis turned on because I like looking at doji candles. If you guys are familiar with my channel, you know that a lot of the candles that I trade are typically dojis. So actually we can just leave these on for now. I'm currently using the Dragonfly Doji, the Evening Star Doji, Gravestone Doji, the Hammer, the Inverted Hammer, Morning Star Doji, Morning Star, Raindrop, Shooting Star, and I believe that is it. So I currently have 9 selected. You can select as many as you want, but obviously if you select more, it's going to clunk up your chart. So you don't want to have too many selected, especially not too many of kind of the same candle. So once you select the candles that you want to use, it's going to highlight them on your chart with these blue boxes. And then it's also going to give you little acronyms to tell you which candlestick pattern is being highlighted. So you have right here, we've got a shooting star, we've got a hammer, we got another hammer, we have a hammer and a dragonfly. So if it gives you multiple candlestick patterns kind of in that one or two candlestick formation, it will give you the acronyms top and bottom. We have a dragonfly there, hammer, hammer. So it's very simple. It will do this on multiple time frames, obviously. So if you have a preference on what time frame you want to trade these candlesticks on, it will reveal them on whatever time frame you have loaded. I believe it will also work on your multi-time frame as well. So if you want to set alerts for these, you kind of have to do something a little fancy here. You don't right-click the candle. That's not going to give you the alert. You can't double-click on these or anything. What you have to do is you got to go up here to create alert, and you want to go to multi-factor alert, and then you want to add the parameter, go to condition, and then whatever time frame you want to be alerted on, let's say the daily, and then this is where you make the alert for your candlesticks. So right here you grab the candlestick, and then whatever candlestick you want to be alerted on, you just type it in, and then it will come up. And right there I did doji, but you can select whatever you want. You can select hammer, whatever candlestick you want to use. It will have all the same candlesticks in here that you see on this top toolbar. So once you go ahead and create that alert, it's going to go over here to your alert list. And you're going to have your alert ready over here. So if you want to clone this alert, it has a clone function. If you want to delete it, you can also delete it there. Very simple, nothing fancy. The only hard part about it is creating the alerts. One thing I do recommend to the TrendSpider team is you probably want to make it so you can right-click the candles and then set up a candlestick alert on that candlestick. It would be even great if you could say right-click a candle here, and then it would give you whatever that candlestick formation was. It would say create alert bearish engulfing. That would be pretty solid. So that's it for the candlesticks. Very simple, as I said. If you want to use multiple candlestick patterns, you can do that. If you want to use all the same pattern, kind of like I do, you can do dojis, you can do engulfings, you can do all the stars. They've got all the textbook candlestick patterns that you would want. Also over here on the right that I didn't mention earlier is it tells you how many candlesticks are in that pattern. So for example, 4 green candles, obviously that one's a little easy. You have 4 candles. abandoned baby, that's going to be 3 candles. So it's going to tell you how many candles are in that pattern and how many need to play out for that candle to be confirmed. They also have little buttons that have documents. For certain candles, it doesn't have all of them, but you can click on that document button and it will lead you to their write-ups for these candles. So like, for example, the doji must have opened quite equal to the close and then neither bullish or bearish when considered alone. The dark cloud cover, first candle, long white candle, second candle, black candle that opens above the previous day high. So it's going to give you these descriptions on what these candles exactly are. That's it for the candlesticks. I'm going to go over their heat maps here. So their heat maps, they've got 4 different heat maps. I only recommend really using 2 of them. The depth and trends are a little confusing, not very easy to trade. I'll go over them and show you kind of what they look like, but I'm going to start off with the 2 main ones. So the first one here is the horizontal. So what the horizontal heat map does is it looks for clusters of wicks in the same area. So you have low wicks, you have high wicks, you have candle closes and candle opens. So it looks for clusters where those lows or highs or the wicks are in one zone. And it will mark that as a heat map. It will mark it with a red shading. So for example, this one over here, we have a lot of low wicks. You have the low wicks coming in from these 2 candles. You have the high wicks coming in from these candles. You've got a low wick there, high wicks here, high wicks here, low wicks there, high wicks there. So as you can see, that's going to mark that as a heat map, as a hot zone, because you have multiple wicks in that same price range. So that price range is going to be from about 10,200 to 10,270. And as you can see, it was created way back here, and you also have that beautiful test before that bounce that gave you about a 3 to 4% bounce here. So if you were using TrendSpider, you were watching this heat map here, you could have placed a long trade in this heat map, and once it bounced, you could have taken profit towards that other heat zone, that hot zone at 10.5. Same thing on 10.5. You got low wicks. You got all your low wicks there, about 5 low wicks, and you've got a couple of closes on these candles as well, along with that high wick there at 10.5. So wherever these zones are that have multiple wicks in the same price range, you're gonna get that hot zone. And as you can see, it's gonna do this on multiple time frames. We don't have any on the 2 hour there. The 1 hour, you got a nice heat map here, nice hot zone, and gave you a low bounce there, gave you another high bounce there. And then this one has not been tested yet. So for example, if you were trading this live, you can see this nice little hot zone around 10.11 to 10.50. So if you were looking to short Bitcoin, you'd be looking for a rejection in that 10.250 range. These even work on lower time frames as well, but obviously on lower time frames, you're going to get a much wider hot zone. You're going to get bigger hot zones. You're going to get more hot zones because the price action is going to be a lot choppier. So the next heat map we have here is the depth one. Let's go to a higher time frame. So like I said earlier, you can't really trade with these. They're not very appealing to the eyes. The data, the way they're revealing the data is a little hard to understand. But what they're basically going for is it's basically showing you that these are the zones that are being traded. So you don't have a lot of price action in these zones here. So you have a very thick red cloud. But the zones that are being traded, you're not seeing that thick red cloud because you're seeing a lot of price action in those price ranges. So you can zoom in here and you can see that around 9,500, you're not being shaded in because you have price action in that range. But if you look higher towards this 10.5 to 11,000 to 11.5, you're being shaded in because you don't have a lot of price action in those levels. But as I said, it's kind of hard to visualize. Not very tradable data. More probably for longer term, looking at certain levels. Next one we have is the trend one. This is another one that's kind of hard to visualize. This is showing kind of where there are clusters and trend lines. So you can see how this area down here below all of these valleys, you have this thick red cloud that gives you kind of that that price range of that support. So you have supports coming in from these multiple trend lines, so it's shading in these zones that are provided by those multiple trend lines. Where you have these areas of kind of choppiness and sideways action that doesn't really give you the highs and lows, you're not going to get the shaded. You're not going to get the shaded in hot zone because you don't have a whole lot of highs and lows to draw your trend lines off of. So what you basically want to visualize here is, for example, if I take trend lines and I'm drawing these trend lines from all of these highs to lows, or high to high, these clusters are going to be where you're getting a bunch of different trend lines in kind of the same area. So like if you take this high to this high, this high to this high, that area is shaded in darker because you're going to get multiple trend lines kind of all collapsing in that same range. This is definitely a lot more tradable than the depth one, but it's still a little hard on the eyes. They probably need to work on visualizing this a little better, but it's definitely helpful if you're just going to a daily or a weekly and you kind of want to see where most of the support and resistance from your trend lines is going to be. So just by zooming out here, you can see that you have the thickest red sections right here kind of on the local price action would be around like 10.2, and then coming in as support, your thickest is actually acting as resistance now. So you can see how kind of this thickest red cloud went from being support to being resistance. So as you were watching this, if you were using this depth chart and you saw it break downward and pop back, you could have seen that that was going to be a lot of resistance in that 10.6 to 11,000 range because of that long-lasting support from those trends. So same thing here. We have this thick area of downward resistance lines. So if we're able to break through this and pop back downward, so let's just visualize this here. If we're able to break through this and pop back downward, you have that thick hot zone that can act as support. So this just gives you kind of that way to visualize multiple different trends in the same price range. And you can see it on lower time frames as well. So you can see how kind of the strongest trend here on the 4-hour was this ascending trend. You had this ascending trend here, and then you broke downward through that ascending trend. Once again, we can go a little bit lower. Let's go to the 1-hour. Same thing here. Your strongest trend is is this downward trend here. So you kind of have that descending wedge, that falling wedge forming, and you can visualize that with this thick red cloud moving downward. So originally, you had this thick red cloud moving upward. You can see it here, acting as support. But then once you start to climb, you don't really have those trends anymore. That trend is lost, and now you have that downward trend. We could go down to like a 15-minute. Same thing here. You can see the cluster of those trend lines is all in this upper range here. So you're currently testing that cluster of trends. You're currently running into that thick red cloud of resistance. And you can see a failure happening currently. But if we're able to break this, you're going to start to see more of a darker red come into the ascending side. So let's go back to a daily here. That just about covers everything. Basically, the thicker it is, the more trends are going to be clustered in that same area. And then if you're not seeing a thick red cloud, if it's giving you more of a gray background or whatever your background color is, that's basically telling you that there's just not a lot of trend lines or trends in that price range. So let's go to the next one here. The last one is volume at price. The last one here is volume by price, which is your simple volume profile. You can see that it basically charts, if you zoom out on your TrendSpider, this is as far out as I can zoom, that is the volume profile that it's giving you. It's giving you the farthest out volume to price. So if you zoom in, you're getting the same volume profile. Now, I do recommend to the TrendSpider team that they do change the way that this calculates. Maybe use more of a visible range, kind of like TradingView uses, so that it shows you the volume profile on whatever price action you have visually shown on your chart. Because, for example, when I'm zooming in here, this isn't really giving me any tradable data. It's too big when I'm zoomed in. I can't really see too much of it, but when I zoom out, it gives you a very beautiful volume profile. I do like what they're doing here. The volume profile is very clean. It is giving you just the cumulative volume. It's not showing you the buy versus sell volume, which you don't really need to see on a volume profile, because pretty much the buy and sell volume is going to be almost exact on every single level. So you are getting the cumulative volume, but as I said, the only downside is when you zoom in, it doesn't adjust its size. So that is something that I do recommend to the team, is change it so it adjusts its size based on how you zoom in. Now, I can give you guys a brief synopsis of what volume profile is, but if you guys want to learn about it more in depth, I would recommend watching my volume profile video. But basically what volume profile is it shows you how much volume is traded at that price. It does not care about time. It doesn't care about the date or anything. The only thing it cares about is what is that price level, how much volume was traded at that price level. So you can see that we have a massive volume spike here at this 4,000 price level because we have that very long consolidation during that 3,000 to 4,000 range. So volume profile is showing you that the most volume on my current chart is being traded at around 3,800 to 4,000. Now, what it's also showing you is there's not a whole lot of volume being traded at around 68 to around 9,000 to even around 13,000. So it's basically showing you that as price is rising, the volume is going down. So you're not seeing a whole lot of buyers or sellers during that upper range, 12,000 to 13,000. So the overall use of volume profile is just seeing where the buyers are, where the sellers are, where is the most volume being traded. If you guys want to learn more about that, I recommend watching my volume profile video. But that is going to be it here for the heat map and candlestick recognition software on TrendSpider. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments and I will go over them the best I can. Our next video is going to be on their autofib drawing system and their multi-time frame analysis with their indicators. The last video after that is going to be on their strategy tester and their range drops. If you guys would like to sign up to TrendSpider, feel free to use my discount code. It's at the top left, DJBT15. It will give you a 15% off discount on your subscription. And if you guys take a look at the description below, we will be doing a webinar with the TrendSpider team this Monday, which is September 16th. And that webinar will be on the strategy tester and the raindrop candlestick system. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next TrendSpider video. Alright guys, if you guys are on Twitch, sorry about that. Just had to do a little highlight there. Now obviously, there's a lot of parts of that I cut out. Like if I go on tangents or just like certain parts of the video that I don't feel are good for the video, I'm going to cut those out, make a highlight, put it on YouTube. So if you guys want the condensed version, kind of the better version, wait for it to be released on YouTube, and you guys will have the clean cut version. Those videos get a little sloppy because I feel like I can go over everything in like 5 minutes, but I don't want it to be that short of a video. So I kind of talk on little tangents to kind of make the video a little longer. And that's probably very easy to notice. But I cut down most of that stuff when I do the editing. What do you think about MACD trading? I think MACD is very delayed. I think MACD is very good for like long-term trading. If you're like an investor, I think MACD is fine. If you're a short-term trader, I don't really like MACD. But alright guys, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go edit that video and have it posted on YouTube. I appreciate you guys hanging out for the live version of it. If you guys want to watch the highlight, it should be posted on YouTube by the end of the day. And I'll be streaming same time tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow around 3 p.m. same time. So if you guys missed today's stream, feel free to watch the VOD, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow for basically the same thing. Do the same thing 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Do stock market close. We go over crypto. Basically go over whatever the hell you guys want. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good day. Peace out.